Hello, Team Awesome Huddles. Now, this might not come to as a surprise to you, but I am a very big nerd. And over the last, a couple of years, I've been reading my way through a series called the Stormlight Archive. I'm on book four, and each of these books are somewhere between like 1,000 and 1,400 pages a piece of this like crazy magical land. Where there's all sorts of different physics and all sorts of different people and different laws and rules. And I really geek out on this stuff. However, one of the things that is fascinating to me about one of the people groups in this fantasy world is there is a group of people called the Singers. There's like normal humans, like the couple of people that are in this picture, but then there's also the people called the Singers. They're like these almost like imagine like Darth Maul from the Star Wars world with like black and red and white marbled skin. Um, but they are called the Singers because they live on this continent called Roshar, and they are the inhabitants of this place before humans took over. And they're called the Singers because there are these rhythms to their world. And I promise all of this nerd stuff is going to connect. That the land itself has a rhythm to it that they can attune their hearts to, so that when they communicate, they can attune the rhythm or the song of joy or of sorrow or of anxiety or of their hearts are able to attune to these different rhythms, and they speak with these rhythms so that as they're communicating, they're also communicating the way that they feel instead of having to rely on the nonverbal stuff that we as humans use. And I think that this is really fascinating to me. I mean, one thing that resonated a lot about that is the idea of this music that's always playing in the background, really accentuating the things that we feel. That the idea that this land has a musical rhythm or a musical pattern to it that we can attune ourselves to kind of like to express ourselves. And now, the reason I'm talking about this is because there are a couple of questions that you guys are going to discuss today that talk about music. And we don't live on Roshar, this fictional world. We live here, right? We live on this blue and brown and green dot that's floating through space in our solar system. Um, and I don't think that there is a magical rhythm of music that we can attune our hearts to, like these the singers of Roshar. But I do think that there is a resonant truth here, and that is that through music and through song, we are able to attune our hearts to things that we're experiencing and feeling. Um, if you think about it, like I think that this is why music sometimes is like so central to how cultures work. This is why music sometimes is central to like even thinking about sometimes our own vain and selfish culture. If you think about it, one of the things that defines it is the music that is made and the artists that produce that music. That the music somehow gets in our hearts and in our minds and allows us to resonate with rhythms of reality, of emotions, of societal movements, of all sorts of things that music taps us into. Um, and my argument would be that one, that music inherently is a gift that God gave us to produce beauty and to resonate with each other's experiences. But if there is a fundamental base rhythm of reality, if there is a fundamental rhythm to which our souls were made to align, I would say that this rhythm is worship. And when I say worship, I do not mean Chris Tomlin's G, C, E minor, D chord progressions and his simple lyrics. But what I mean is that our hearts and our identity at its core was made to enjoy God and this reality that He has given us. This is why you might not notice it when you're reading your Bibles, but so much of the Old Testament in particular is song. A lot of the prophets, if you look at the way the text is even aligned, yeah, there's blocks of text, but oftentimes it's written in stanzas. There's 150 chapters in the book of Psalms. Even some of the opening chapters of the Bible like have poetic, rhythmic structure to them, showing that for ages we as humans have been resonating with art and rhythm and poetry and music as ways of connecting with the ultimate reason that we exist, as a means of resonating with why we are even here. um, and that is worship, that is acknowledging who God is and enjoying who God is. um, and through that we get to enjoy life. And so today in your group, as you're talking about worship, whether it's like silent contemplative worship or singing to Jesus rock and roll songs, or even as you think about your own music choices and why those songs resonate with your heart and your soul, I want you to like really tap into not just like, well, music because I like it, but I want you to really think about like, what is it that connects deep in you with this music? What is it about those rhythms, that tune that allows you to connect with why you are here and what you're experiencing in this life? Hope you guys have good conversations and are really able to connect with each other and with those bass rhythms that God originally played into the fabric of our universe. Peace out, homies.